Hi fourth graders, and today is the second video on assessment practice for topic 14. If you would get your Envision books open to page 541 and 542, that's volume 2, we'll get started. Number 1 says football players come out of the tunnel and their jerseys have the number pattern shown below. They follow the rule add 4. Notice 12 plus 4 is 16. 16 plus 4 is 20. So 20 plus 4. What number belongs on the front of the blank jersey? We've got 20 plus 4 equals, that's right, 24. Describe two features of the pattern. Remember when we talked about features in the previous video? Features can be things like evens and odds, multiples of a number. As I look at these numbers, I notice that this is 3 times 4, 4 times 4, 4 times 5. So I notice that these are multiples of 4 because you can multiply each of these 4 times something to get each of those numbers. And they also are all, because they end in 2, 6, 0, and 4. So they're all even numbers. Those are two features of this pattern. All right, so I've started you with number 1. What I'd like you to do is to pause the video and work on 2 through 10, the rest of it on your own. When you have done as many of the problems as you can on your own, I'd like you to unpause the video, come back to it, and we'll go over the rest together. So give it a try, see what you can do on your own to better prepare you for tomorrow's test. Well, welcome back. Hopefully you paused the video and tried the rest of the problems on your own, and now you're ready to go over them together. So we've done number 1. Number 2, 1 dozen eggs is 12 eggs. 2 dozen eggs is 24 eggs. Match the number of dozens to the number of eggs. The rule is multiply by 12. 1 times 12 is 12, that's 1 dozen. 2 dozen, 2 times 12 is 24. So we are looking at 8 dozen. 12 times 8. I know that 8 times 2 is 16. I know that 8 times 110 is 80. So when I add those together, I get 96 for 8 dozen. 10 times 12, so remember we're multiplying by 12, is you add the 0 at the end of 12 to get 120. What I can do is look at this, and I know that 5 dozen is going to be way less than 14 dozen. I have 2 left. We're only going to use each answer choice once because you can't multiply, everyone is multiplied by 12. You can't multiply by a different number and get the same answer. So each of these should be used once. 5 dozen, we can just go ahead and multiply that. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 110 is 50. When we add that up, we get 60. Whoops. So going back to 14 dozen, it makes sense. We have the highest number here, so it should be the most eggs. And yes, that would be the most. We can go ahead and multiply 14 times 5 and prove that it's 168, but we've also multiplied the others. So we know that we're at the largest amount, and that was be 168 from our choices. Number 3 says use the rule multiply by 6 to continue the pattern, then describe a feature of the problem. So in other words, 3 times 6 is 18. 5 times 6 is 30. 7 times 6 is 42. 9 times 6 is 54. So a feature of this problem would be, I'm looking at each one of these, they end in 0, 2, 4, 8, all even numbers. Another, you only need to list one, but another one would also be they're all multiples of 6. We just multiply them all by to get. Number 4 says you use the rule divide by 3 to continue the pattern. Then write 4 terms of a different pattern that follows the same rule. So we divide by 3. So 81 divided by 3. That would go 20 times would be 60. And I know that 3 times 7 is 21. So 27. And I just know my facts that I know what times 3 equals 27 is 9. So if I divided 27 by 3, I'd get 9. It says find, then write 4 terms of a different pattern that follows the same rule. So I could start with the same rules, divide by 3. I could start with 30. Divide by 3 is 10. Well, that's not a good example because it would end right there. Let's see. Let's do, well, we could, let's see, we would choose, whatever we choose, these are the only numbers that are going to give us something evenly. We could start with, if we divide by 3, if we started with, I think that we just did 27, 9 divided by 3 is 3, 3 divided by 3 is 1. So that would give us 4 terms. And that's the same pattern, but it follows the same rule. If we did a different pattern, we would not get an even number. All right, so Nicole, number 5, arranges her shopping purchases by price. Each item costs $6 more than the last. The first item cost $13. The last cost $61. Her brother John says that the price of each item is an odd number. Is John correct? Find the cost of each item to explain. So our first item is $13. Each item costs $6 more than the one before it, so I'm going to add 6. 13 plus 6 is 19, plus 6, 25, add 6. 31 plus 6, 37 plus 6, 43 plus 6, 49 plus 6, 55 plus 6, and we get to the last item at $61. So our question asks, find the cost of each item. Oh, first of all, her brother John says that the price of each item is an odd number. Let's look at our numbers. They end in 3, 9, 5, 1, 7, 3, 9, 5, and 1, which would make them all odd numbers. So yes, he's correct. All are odd numbers. All right, looking at number 6. The rule for the repeating pattern is 5, 7, 2, 8. Write the next 3 numbers in the pattern. 5, 7, 2, 8, 5, 7, 2, 8, 5, 7, 2, 8. Then tell what will be the 25th number in the pattern. So we take the number 25, because we want the 25th. We have 4 numbers in our sequence, so we will divide by 4. This does not go evenly because we know that 4 times 6 is 24. So we have 1 left over, so our remainder is 1. That means that we will do this pattern 6 complete times, 5, 7, 2, 8, 6 times, and then we will be on the next number, which would be the first number of the next series, which is a 5. So the 25th number is a 5. It's the first number of the pattern. Number 7, Jackson wrote different patterns for the rule subtract 5. Select all the patterns that he could have written. Then write 4 terms of a different pattern that follows the same rule. So let's check. Subtract 5. Does that work? Yes. Take away 5? Yes. Take away 5? Correct. So this one works. 5, take away 5 is not 10. We have to add 5, so this one does not work. 55 take away 5 is 50. 50 take away 5 is not 35. 100 take away 5 is 95. 95 take away 5 is 90. 90 take away 5 is 85. 85 take away 5 is 80, so that is correct. 75 take away 5 is not 65, so that is not correct. All right, so it says write 4 terms of a different pattern that follows this rule. We could start with anything. We could start with 25. Take away 5 is 20. Take away 5 is 15. Take away 5 is 10. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. Follows this rule of take away 5 or subtract 5, and we have our 4 terms. Your terms could have been different. You could have chosen any number to start with. You just subtract 5 with each term. Number 8 says the rule is subtract 7. What are the next 3 numbers in the pattern? Describe 2 features of the pattern. So subtract 7, our next number, 35 take away 7 would be 28. 28 take away 7 would be 21. 21 take away 7 would be 14. So these are my next 3 numbers in the pattern. 2 features of this pattern. 1, so 0, 3, 6, 9. These are what our numbers end in, even, odd, even, odd. So the one feature of the pattern is the numbers alternate even, odd. All right, the second feature of this pattern, they are all multiples of 7. 7 times 2 is 14, 7 times 3 is 21, 7 times 4 is 28, 7 times 5 is 35, and so forth. So all are multiples of 7. All right. Next, column number 9, the table shows the different number of teams formed by different numbers of players. The rule is divide by 8. 24 divided by 8 is 3. 32 divided by 8 is 4. 40 divided by 8 is, looks like a T there. So what times 8 is 40? That would be 5. 72 divided by 8 is 9. So how many teams can be formed with 40 players? 8 on a team, 5 teams. How many players are there on 13 teams? And how do you know? So we have 13 for the teams down here. How many players would that be? Now we need to do the opposite. We're not going to divide by 8 because we need 13 teams with 8 players on each. So let's do our work down here. We have 13 times 8. 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 1, 10 is 80. Then we add those together. And we get 104 players. All right, finally, number 10. And I know that because this would fit our pattern. If we checked our work, 104 divided by 8. I know that 8 times 10 is 80, so I'm going to take that away first. And I know that 8 times 3 is 24. My partial quotient, I add together the 10 and the 3, and I get 13. Check. We're correct. Remember, we can do the inverse operation. If we multiply and get an answer, we can divide that, and we should be back with what we started. And that's a check that our answer is correct. Number 10A, select all the true statements for the repeating pattern. The rule is circle, heart, triangle, circle, heart, triangle. The next shape is a circle. That would be correct. The circle only repeats twice. I disagree. It says circle, heart, triangle, so the circle only repeats. It's only in there once. This pattern, it means it repeats and goes on forever. The 10th shape is a heart. Well, we take 10 and we divide it by the number of shapes in our repeating pattern, which is 3. That goes 3 times, but we have 1 left over, so we'd have 3 full sets, and we'd be to the first shape, which is a circle, for the remainder 1. So actually the 10th shape is a circle. So if we know this is the 10th shape, this would be the 11th, this would be the 12th. The 12th shape is a triangle, that's correct. The circle is the 1st, 4th, 7th, etc. shape, that's correct. 4th, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, wait. The circle is the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Correct. I just went ahead to it's the 7th. It would be then the 10th, and so forth. Part B says, how many triangles are there among the first 22 shapes? So again, we'll divide 22 by 3. So we get 7 full repeating patterns. That's 21, so we have 1 repeating. So then we'll be on the circle again. So we've got 7 triangles, 1 in each of those. So there are 7 triangles among the first 22 shapes. All right, that's it. If you have any questions, please message me before you take your test tomorrow. We can go over any of the problems on this practice assessment or even the practice from yesterday on page 539, 540, and good luck.